The Tennessee Titans are being played like fools by NFL coaching candidates. And quite honestly, it's an embarrassment. I'll explain what happened on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com to get started on today's show. I'll tell you why it's becoming even more clear that the Tennessee Titans are getting played like suckers by NFL head coaching candidates. And if the Titans aren't getting played, then it's the Titans who are playing their own fans. I'll tell you what the latest is on the Tennessee Titans head coaching finalists and why it's so clear that the Titans are being used. Also, we'll talk about the scary reality of Matt Nagy coming even more closer, and we'll talk about what hope Tennessee Titans fans can even have left this week. Before we dive into it all, I do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. You're not going to beat that anywhere else. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there. Tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one. I think that the Tennessee Titans will hire their next head coach by the weekend. You want to stay up to date, as informed, as entertained as a Tennessee Titans fan could possibly be. Make sure that you stay locked in with the Locked On Titans podcast. But with that being said, again, the Tennessee Titans are getting played like fools by every single top head coaching candidate on the market right now. And if you don't see it and you can't put the pattern together, allow Uncle Ty to paint the picture. So number one, we know that John Harbaugh was a finalist for the Tennessee Titans head coaching job. He was not reported as a finalist, but I'm sorry, Amy Adams-Strunk was going to gas up the jet, go to Maryland, and offer him $20 million a season to be the Tennessee Titans head coach. If that doesn't count as a finalist, then I don't know what does. It's clear that John Harbaugh was one of their top candidates. And what did Harbaugh do? Harbaugh went and met with the New York Giants on Thursday, and he had a visit with the Tennessee Titans scheduled for Friday, or it may have been Wednesday to Thursday, but the point is the Titans were scheduled one day after John Harbaugh was scheduled to visit with the Giants. Why would that be, folks? Because John Harbaugh can say, either you give me what I want, New York, or I'm going to Tennessee tomorrow. I'm meeting with Tennessee tomorrow, and I'm going to take their job, so you better pony up. Okay, John Harbaugh, I didn't expect him to come to the Tennessee Titans, all this and that, whatever. But over the weekend, literally on Saturday morning, it was reported that Kevin Stefanski was a finalist for the Tennessee Titans head coaching job, and that on Sunday, Kevin Stefanski was going to go to Nashville to meet with the Titans in person. And who did he meet with on Saturday? The Falcons. And where is he the head coach now? The Falcons. Was Kevin Stefanski really coming to the Tennessee Titans? Or was he telling the Falcons, hey, you better pony up and give me what I want, or I'm going to go to Tennessee tomorrow? Okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. If that's not enough for you, Jeff Hafley was announced on Saturday as a finalist for the Tennessee Titans head coaching job, the defensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers. All right, cool. That makes sense. He's a good coach. Well, it was also reported by multiple national reporters over the last 24 hours that Jeff Hafley is a strong frontrunner and considered a massive favorite to be the Miami Dolphins' next head coach, which that makes sense. They hired John Eric Sullivan as their general manager. He came from Green Bay, so the Green Bay connection makes sense. Well, as no shock to anybody, Jeff Hafley is meeting with the Dolphins on Monday. Guess who Jeff Hafley is scheduled to meet with on Tuesday? The Tennessee Titans. So again, let's put two and two together. Jeff Hafley at the Miami Dolphins. You better give me what I want, or I'm going to go to Tennessee tomorrow and take their job. No, he's not. The Dolphins are going to give him what he wants. They're doing sham interviews on Monday morning with Rooney Rule candidates so that they can hire Jeff Hafley on Monday night. And he's never going to go to Tennessee, like how Harbaugh never met with Tennessee and how Stefanski never went back to Tennessee. It's just so obvious Mike Borgonzi is being played like a sucker. He is being played like a fool, like a fiddle by NFL head coaching agents. Tennessee is being used as leverage by every other candidate possible. It's a disgrace. It's a joke. It's an embarrassment. And for the Tennessee Titans, the reason that you fire your head coach in the middle of the season is so that you can get a leg up on the head coaching search. You can beat people to the punch, but yet every single turn the Titans make, they are being beat to the punch and a day behind the other jobs that these candidates actually want to go to. So there's one of two ways to look at this. Either I'm wrong and all of the media saying the Titans are a great job, the Titans are just part of the leverage play and the Titans actually aren't a good job. Or these head coaching candidates just aren't that interested in the first place. And those two things might just be connected. And the other side of it is maybe Mike Borgonzi is just a moron. Maybe he doesn't realize he's being played like a sucker. Because why in the world would they have the jet ready to go get Harbaugh when it seemed pretty clear that he was never going to take the Tennessee job? Why in the world would they announce Kevin Stefanski and Jeff Hafley as finalists for the job when it's pretty clear that they prefer other destinations? Why would you intentionally announce finalists who aren't actually considering the Titans a finalist? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's one or two ways around this. Either Mike Borgonzi is getting played like a sucker and doesn't realize it, because if he did realize that he was being played like a sucker by Stefanski and Hafley, why would he leak that they were finalists? Which maybe he didn't. Maybe it was their agents. Maybe they aren't finalists. But you have a hard time believing that. When they had finalist interviews scheduled, like they had a scheduled interview with Stefanski on Sunday. They had a scheduled interview with Hafley on Tuesday that still stands. Why would you schedule finalist interviews with guys who you know are playing you like a fool? The only answer for that is he doesn't know that he's being played like a fool. Or the other side of that is he knows that those guys aren't coming and he doesn't want to hire them anyway. It's a dog and pony show to make Titans fans feel better about hiring his buddy, Matt Nagy. That is the other side of this. If Borgonzi isn't an idiot, then that means that it isn't the Titans who are getting fooled. It's the Titans who are fooling their fan base. Oh, we went after Harbaugh. We went after Stefanski. We went after Hafley. We courted Mike McCarthy. Matt Nagy, I can already hear the press conference. We wanted someone who wanted to be here. It just so happened to be my best buddy that I studied with for my GM interviews that I worked with in Kansas City. Yeah, it's just, I'm not going to make a hire based on relationship. We're going to get the best coach, but turns out the best coach was my buddy. So there's one of two things going on right now. Either Mike Borgonzi is being played like a fool, or Mike Borgonzi is playing you like a fool, playing in your face. And either way, it is an absolute embarrassment to the Titans fan base, the way that they have handled this and the way that it's going down. And let's talk about the reality here, because I have put it off. I have refused to believe it. I have tried every comment that I've seen on social media or here on YouTube or wherever. They're going to hire Matt Nagy, bro. It's obviously Matt Nagy, bro. Blah, blah, blah. I've tried to ignore it for as long as I can because I refused to believe that Borgonzi would do that. But the reality is that terrifying result is coming closer and closer and closer. I can see it catching us in the rear view mirror. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by the ultimate QB football legend. Have you ever wished that you could become a pro QB and get drafted first overall, maybe by the Tennessee Titans? Well, now you can. There's a mobile game just for you. It's called Ultimate QB Football Legend. In this career mode game, on mobile app stores, you have the ability to sign contracts, train and upgrade yourself, build chemistry with your teammates, give input to your general manager on roster moves. You can actually play games in 2D and rise through the ranks to become a pro football legend. You're going to have to deal with the ups and downs of a QB career. Ultimate QB is totally free to play. It has no ads. It works 100% offline, which is great. Just head over to Ultimate QB, ultimate-QB.com. That's ultimate-QB.com, or you could just search Ultimate QB in the App Store. And I've got something special for you guys. When you use the promo code Locked On in the game store, you're going to get a free boost to start your career. It's Ultimate QB, football legend, QB1. It's your legacy. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, folks, and there's no better way to stay locked into every moment with Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where it feels good to be right. The football season is coming down to the final stretch, and now is the perfect time to close it out strong. Prize Picks makes watching games even more exciting by letting you build simple lineups around player projections. No drafts, no waiting, just football action all the way through the playoffs. Prize Picks has great features like an early payout feature where if you can cash out early if one of your players gets hot. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Again, an embarrassing weekend for the Tennessee Titans where the majority of their quote-unquote finalists aren't even seriously considering them and just using them as leverage. And if that ain't it, then Mike Borgonzi is fooling all of us on purpose to hire his boy, Matt Nagy. And I gotta be honest with you guys, the reality of Matt Nagy is coming closer and closer and closer. I know that not all of you guys watch all the same movies as me, but have you ever seen Zack Snyder's Justice League where Darkseid puts his hand on Superman's shoulder? And it's kind of the final moment where, you know what, the bad guy is taking control of Superman. That's how I feel right now. Matt Nagy is grabbing my shoulder. We've lost. Like, yes, the Titans could not hire Matt Nagy. They could hire someone else, and we're going to talk about those options here the rest of the show. But at this point, the OG Matt Nagy hater, me, even before the Titans season was over, I made an episode called Say No to Matt Nagy. One of the worst possible candidates the Tennessee Titans could hire. And not only because he is an awful candidate for the job, but because of what it represents. Hiring Matt Nagy proves that the Tennessee Titans have not gotten out of their buddy hire phase. They let Mike Vrabel hire all his buddies at offensive coordinator, and ultimately that was the reason things didn't work out. Ran Carthon said no to Mike McDonald. Ran Carthon said no to other better head coaching options to hire who he got along with best in Brian Callahan. And now, you're telling me that the Titans hired a general manager whose first chance to really hire a coach of his own, and he's just going to hire his study buddy from Kansas City, where they, broke out the textbooks and let Mike Borgonzi practice for his general manager interview. It's just the same problems that the Titans have been having for 5 or 6 years. They hire from a place of friendship instead of a place of talent. They don't care about who is the most talented option available. They care about who is their friend, who makes them feel warm and fuzzy inside. I don't want to argue and disagree. I don't want to have conflict. I want my best friend. It's absurd. It's laughable. And it's the same pattern of mistakes that they've had for years and years and years that have led them into this hole that they are in right now, and they're not going to be able to climb out of it if they continue to make the same mistake hiring their best buds. I get the NFL is a relationship business. If you started a business and you had a buddy who did a job that you needed to hire for, you'd probably hire your buddy. I get that that's not just the NFL, folks. That's how life works. But at some point in time, the Titans have to look in the mirror here and say, we can't just keep hiring people who we're close to. We have to hire based on talent. And that's why I've said that I don't even care if the general manager and the head coach get along, as long as the head coach is talented. Because what really matters, conflict is everywhere. I have a saying that if you avoid conflict, you create more of it. And I like conflict. I'm somebody who meets conflict head on. I seek out conflict, quite frankly, if I evaluate myself honestly. If I'm being honest to my viewers, I seek out conflict. I like it. And maybe that's not the healthiest way to live your life. I can admit that on the stand. But avoiding conflict entirely by just hiring your buddies because you get along, that creates more conflict down the road. So take that as a life lesson if you're a young man who's shy and doesn't like conflict. The more you avoid conflict, the more you create. Meet problems head on. Say what needs to be said. Yes, there are going to be bad feelings. People are going to be mad. People are going to be upset. There will be hard times. But that is better than avoiding it, because by avoiding conflict, you multiply it. Okay? And that's what's happening with the Titans. By avoiding conflict with more talented coaches who they don't have as good of relationships with, they are multiplying the conflict down the road and putting the Titans in the hole that they're in. So, listen, I will go over the tail of the tape tomorrow. On tomorrow's show, my expectation is I'm going to do the pros and the cons of every Titans finalist that remains. But, like I was saying, if the Titans aren't being played like fools and they know that these head coaches were using them as leverage, then why would they announce most of those guys as finalists? The only other answer is the Titans are playing you. They think you are an idiot. The Titans think they can lie to you and play you for a fool, play right in your face. Because who were the finalists that were reported? Let's take account here. We know John Harbaugh was a finalist. Again, I explained that in the first segment. Gassing up the jet, $20 million contract on the table. That's a finalist. We know Kevin Stefanski was a finalist. They had a second finalist interview scheduled with him on Monday or Sunday. We know Jeff Hafley is a finalist. They have a finalist head coaching interview scheduled with him for Tuesday. Mike McCarthy. I did a little short video over the weekend on Saturday. If you guys missed it, I'll break it down here. Mike McCarthy had dinner with the Tennessee Titans on Friday night, according to local reports. And then he spent the day at the facility, a full day interview at the facility on Saturday. Wine and dine at night, full day interview. Their second quote-unquote meeting together or conversation together, the local beat reporters were all fighting with each other all day Saturday about whether Mike McCarthy had met with the Titans before, whether he hadn't. Was it formal? Was it informal? It's all semantical crap to make each other look right or wrong. The reality is, if you have talked to Mike McCarthy before, you had dinner with him and wined and dined him, you had him at the facility all day on Saturday, that is a finalist interview. That's what a finalist interview looks like. If the Titans ever get to have a finalist interview with any of their finalists, that's what it would look like. So John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Jeff Hafley, Mike McCarthy were finalists for the job. The only other reported person that is a finalist for the job and will have a scheduled finalist interview with the Titans, according to national reports, is Matt Nagy. It was a bait and switch all along. We tried. We were interested in the top candidates. We had interviews scheduled. Again, you can hear it right now. We wanted someone who wanted to be here, which to me translates to nobody wanted to be here. And we took the only guy that we could. So I have been a Matt Nagy denier. I have said over and over, no to Nagy. No to Nagy. I do not want Matt Nagy. I have gone over the reasons why. I will rehash those reasons tomorrow if anybody missed it before the season even ended. But like, even me as a top-tier Matt Nagy denier, I just can't realistically get on here and tell you guys anymore they're not going to hire him. Because right now, look, I mean, there are 5 finalists who we know about right now, and only 2 of them are going to give the Titans an interview. And it's Nagy, and it was Mike McCarthy. And now, if you're telling yourself or you're saying to yourself in the comments or just thinking to yourself in your car or at the gym or wherever you listen, and thank you for listening no matter what. But wherever you are right now, if you're saying to yourself, well, they could still hire Mike McCarthy, on Sunday, we learned that Mike McCarthy is going to do an interview in person with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike McCarthy is from Pittsburgh. Mike McCarthy's parents still live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, which he's 62 years old. What a lucky guy to still have both his parents around. That's quite fortunate. If any of you listening have that situation, congratulations. I feel like that's nearly an impossible. There's no way I make it to 60 and both my parents are still around at 95, 100. You know what I mean? Like, that is a blessing right there. But like, would it be a shock if Mike McCarthy said, I want to go back home? I want to be close to my parents in their final years? Like, I think if you do the tail of the tape, I have said, I think the Titans' job is a better job than the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when you sprinkle on it being his hometown, him growing up a Steelers fan, and his parents being in the area, that probably tips the scale to the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty quickly, So now the Titans let Mike McCarthy into the building like the Giants did with Harbaugh and Stefanski with the Falcons and Hafley's going to do on Monday with the Dolphins. And they let him leave. Unlike those 3 situations that I just mentioned, the Titans let him leave. Why would they let him leave if he was their guy? Because they actually want Matt Nagy. I'm too logical of a person to deny the reality anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. It's just, it's hard to deny that as what's going on right now. It's impossible. So Matt Nagy and Mike McCarthy are the only guys left out of the quote-unquote finalists that the Titans have. And all we can do at this point in time is hope, pray, whatever it is that you do to lift your spirits, send positive vibes, talk to Mother Nature, meditate, whatever you do that's your positive vibe sender in your life. All you can do is use that to hope that the Titans add more finalists this week, like Robert Saleh or Mike McDaniel. And we'll talk about them being kind of our last hope at this point. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Look, the conference championship round is here, folks, and FanDuel has been in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts so you can apply to the bets that you like the most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts give you more juice on the bets that you already like instead of forcing you to bet on something new. Make your picks and then apply your profit boosts to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs are still rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Titans fans, let's cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We talked about how the Tennessee Titans are getting suckered, or they're suckering you. We talked about the Matt Nagy reality coming closer and the Mike McCarthy reality starting to slip away. Now I want to talk about what could even give you hope. Because I'm telling you guys, I'm having a hard time having hope right now. My spirits are low. I am feeling down in the dumps about what's going on right now with how everything has transpired and played out. Look, the John Harbaugh thing happened, and I was like, all right, Harbaugh was probably never coming. The Giants' job is a better job. That makes sense. But seeing the way the Stefanski and Hafley things are playing out, and then seeing Mike McCarthy get an interview with the Steelers, it's just like, boom, 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 punch to the teeth, you know? Like, yeah, we haven't knocked you out yet. You took the punch from Harbaugh and rallied, but we are just uppercut, 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 Mike Tyson style over the weekend for Titans fans. So, you know, if you're down in the dumps like I am, I'm sorry, but listen, there are a couple of things that can give you hope. I don't have faith in them. At this point, I've kind of resigned myself to the Matt Nagy reality, but there are some things that could potentially lift my spirits this week. Number one, the Tennessee Titans are doing a virtual interview with Robert Saleh, the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator. And I can already tell I'm going to hear his defense just got absolutely destroyed by this. Did you watch the game? The Seahawks ran back a kickoff. They had a bunch of turnovers on defense. Like, it wasn't Robert Saleh's fault they lost that game. They're so banged up. The fact that the 49ers got to the divisional round playoffs is a miracle and shows just how great of a coach Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh both are. And again, you may not like Robert Saleh. You may not like Mike McCarthy, but we're talking about Matt Nagy as the alternative, guys. Like, whoa, that puts things into perspective. Again, excuse me, I don't even like Mike McDaniel all that much as a head coaching option for the Titans. But if Mike McDaniel gets hired as the Titans head coach, I'm going to pop some bottles. I ain't drinking months, but I'm buying champagne. Because anything at this point that isn't Matt Nagy, you know, other than Jason Garrett or like Arthur Smith and, you know, Lou Anarumo, you know, like anything else is basically a celebration at this point. But again, that is the hope. Robert Saleh is going to have a virtual interview with the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. He's out of the playoffs. So on Monday, he is officially allowed to meet in person. Let's hope that there is a virtual interview on Sunday. Robert Saleh flies to Tennessee on Monday or Tuesday for a finalist interview. That is the only hope. That is the only hope that we have. So that's where I'm at. And then the only other hope is Mike McDaniel. I mean, they didn't get an interview with Cliff Kingsbury, who was one of my favorite candidates. He's just not even interested. Chris Shula, defensive coordinator for the Rams, who is my favorite young defensive coordinator, not interested. Turn the Titans down. Don't want to interview with you. Oh, brother. So what do we have left? Mike McCarthy, Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel would be my top remaining candidates. Jesse Minter, he's not coming to Tennessee. They're not going to get an interview with Clint Kubiak. He's not even interested. Then we get to anybody who's left is in my hate tier. Vance Joseph, Raheem Morris, Brian Dable, Jonathan Gannon, Arthur Smith, Lou Anarumo, Jason Garrett. I mean, just pour me a nice cold glass of bleach, why don't you? Literally, like, you know, it's just unbelievable to me that this is where we are. I just cannot believe it. I just cannot believe that the Titans had such an advantage over the entire field to hire their head coach, and this is where we're at. I'm here begging you for Mike McDaniel. Like, it's inconceivable to me. So, this is a very doomsday episode, and quite frankly, I can't help it, guys. I say to you all the time, I just tell you how I truly feel. I give you my honest opinion about how I feel about things. I don't do things for engagement bait. I don't try to lie to you guys based on what I think you want to hear. I just tell you the honest truth. Whether you hate me for it, you love me for it, I don't care. I'm going to go down being myself and being honest to you guys. And if you don't like me for it and it doesn't work out for me because I was myself and I was honest, I can live with that at the end of the day. I'm going to go down being me and telling you how I really feel. And I could not get on here today and act like I have hope. But if Robert Saleh gets a finalist interview, if Mike McDaniel gets a finalist interview, if, the Titans find a way to hire Mike McCarthy before he goes to Pittsburgh, maybe Mike McCarthy's agent is using Pittsburgh to force the Titans' hand. Like, you should have given my guy a contract when he was in the building, and now that you didn't, I'm going to put the fear of God in you and have him go to his hometown Pittsburgh Steelers to interview. He wants to be in Tennessee, but you better give him what he wants now before he goes, or he'll go to Pittsburgh. Hopefully that's what's being done to the Titans to force them to hire Mike McCarthy. But if that doesn't happen, we're looking at Matt Nagy or bust. So I desperately need a Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel second interview ASAP. And I said this online, and I'll say it here. And I'm gonna wait to see what happens before I say this firmly. I'm just telling you what I will feel. If Matt Nagy gets hired as the head coach for the Tennessee Titans, I will lose all of my faith in Mike Borgonzi. I'm sorry. I don't care how good the draft class was. If you hire your buddy out of all the candidates that are available in this class, if you go out and hire your buddy, I cannot trust you anymore. So let's hope that Mike Borgonzi doesn't put me in that situation. But I would have a hard time getting on this show and talking about, sign this guy in free agency, draft this player, when the reality of the NFL is you could have the best roster in the world, but if you have a bozo at head coach, you're going to be bad. The Giants, good roster, terrible team. Look at Jacksonville. Look at New England. Look at the Chicago Bears. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles, who have one of the best rosters we have ever seen. The most expensive offense in the NFL. And because their offensive coordinator was such a dope, they couldn't even win a playoff game. Coaching. The chess pieces are relatively the same in the NFL. It's the chess master who wins the game. And if you have Matt Nagy as your chess master, it doesn't matter if you got all queens on the board. You aren't going to win. Just multiple seasons of Tennessee Titans football, dead on arrival. Can't believe it. Let's hope that's not the case. Let's just all hope. But with that being said, that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.